You don't need 1 million followers to make a lot of money online. In fact, you don't need 100,000 followers or even 10,000 followers. To quit your job, retire your spouse, and live that full bank account, empty calendar lifestyle, you only need 1,000 true fans. This is what Kevin Kelly wrote in a famous 2008 article called 1,000 True Fans.
1,000 true fans.
The theory is, and I'm paraphrasing, that if you can get 1,000 true fans in any niche, interest, or hobby, you can live off it. The 1,000 True Fans philosophy has been the driving force behind all of my online businesses over the last decade, so I can tell you with absolute certainty that it works. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the more uncommon and not talked about tips for finding your 1,000 true fans. Firstly, let's clarify a few things. Followers are not necessarily true fans. So you can get someone on Instagram, for example, with 1,000 followers and 100 of them or 200 of them are true fans. There's a loyalty, there's a rapport, there's a connection. Likewise, you guys know that there's accounts on Instagram with 100,000 followers or 1 million followers even, but there's no loyalty there. There's no connection. And so if that account now goes to try and sell something, it's not going to work. In that example, the individual with 1,000 followers on their account with a 10 to 20% true fan ratio is going to do better and going to make more money from the account. And so in this video, and whenever I talk about true fans, I'm not necessarily talking about the quantity of followers. Yes, everything is ultimately a numbers game, and the more generally speaking, the merrier. But if you're interested in making money online from your audience, it's not necessarily followers that you want to grow, it's fans. And there's a difference. There is a difference in the way that you show up and how you present yourself online. One will get you more followers and one will build more fans. That's what we're talking about here. So the next point is that going viral doesn't necessarily give you any more true fans. And there's this whole stigma out there like, oh, I got to learn the algorithm and hack the algorithm so I get the views and so my content gets pushed more and I go viral. And a lot of people's goal is to go viral, go viral. And it's like, well, okay, well, if you do go viral and your video gets 1 million views or 2 million views, it's not the number of views. It's how you showed up in that video and how you built rapport with the audience and connected with them in some way that made them not only want to follow you, but somehow buy into you and your message. If you're just doing the latest TikTok dances and using the latest audio because that's what the algorithm wants and you're doing retention editing, you might get more views. And there's a time and a place to learn some of that, but it's a separate thing from building true fans. And my third point is that not even everyone who buys from you is a true fan. There are some people out there who will buy the thing that you're selling online and they're still not a true fan. And they bought your things because they want to see what the fuck you're up to. They want to have a little sniff under the bonnet. And maybe they want to copy what you're doing to go and do their own thing and become competitors. That's kind of common. They're not even true fans. And so it's not even who buys from you. A true fan is deeper than that. A true fan is a connection that you have with someone. And there's no shortcut to that. There's no way you're going to hack any algorithm that's going to get you that. So instead of pursuing surface level vanity metrics such as views, likes, and followers, you must pursue mastery in your field and a commitment to providing unique value over time. You can't fake it. Or maybe the better way to say it is like, you can fake it, but it's not going to last. And it won't be real. Look, if you want to get the financial independence in a very stable way, in a very predictable way, in a very consistent way, in a very inspiring way, by doing something that you bloody like doing, then you want to have fans out there who are watching you or tuning into you, buying into you to see you perform your mastery in whatever field that might be. You cannot fake it. Now you might be thinking, God, Lewis, that sounds too hard. That sounds like it's going to take too long. Why bother? Why should you bother getting more fans? Well, here's why, is because when you have fans, true fans, about 1,000 of them at least would be lovely, it solves for customer acquisition cost. When you have fans, your customer acquisition cost approximates zero. All of business can be boiled down to a fundamental business formula. Lifetime value divided by customer acquisition cost. The whole game fundamentally is how much can you acquire a customer for and how much does each customer pay you on average over their lifetime. And you want that ratio to be as big as possible. Now, when you have enough true fans, 1,000 ideally, customer acquisition cost approximates zero. It's free. It's because you get on your social, you say swipe up, click here, I've got a new offer, we've got a new thing, I've updated my thing, this month we're doing this, starting that, going here, doing that. You don't need to market, you don't need to do ad spend. You don't need a marketing agency. You don't need sales team or sales staff anymore, which is a huge part of the cost of doing business. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the charts of small business and the average profit margins per industry. First gross profit margin and then net profit margin. What you can do is you can work out the difference between the two margins and you can work out business efficiency. It's grim. I don't know if you've ever looked at those tables. Maybe I'll put a link below this video. It's grim. Most businesses are woefully inefficient, even in the modern day of online business. When we're selling products, digital products, for example, with no cost, people still are not making a lot of money. They're still not having great margins. Is because what happens is they're putting all of their money into marketing, ads, ad agencies, sales teams, sales staff, etc. And it all finds a way to get vanished away. It's unbelievable, actually. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. When you've got the fans, you get the low acquisition costs. And another thing happens is that when you have true fans, lifetime value goes up. It's because you've got fans who love your work, who love what you do. And so they stick around longer, they pay more, and they tell their friends. And they tell their friends to tell their friends. Your customer acquisition cost is down, lifetime value is up. That's the fundamental business formula. It's the business play. It's the smartest thing that you can do, is to build true fans, in my opinion anyway. Golly gosh. So here's 5 quick tips for finding your 1,000 true fans. Number 1, make a commitment. Look, if any of this message resonates with you and you're thinking, God, what Lewis is saying is true. I want to get my 1,000 true fans. Fantastic. Make a commitment now. Whether it's going to take a year or 2 years or 4 years, I'm going to get my 1,000 true fans. Everything starts with a commitment. We have a thing in our house called our simplified revenue statement. And ours looks a little bit like this. Our goal is to have 2,000 people pay us $100 a month. That's it. And so I encourage you to write down your own simplified revenue statement. Maybe 2,000 feels too far out. I've already got my 1,000 raving fans. My next goal is to do 2,000. But if you're starting from scratch, then it might be 1,000. Or if you can't stomach 1,000, maybe it's 500 people, because you could get 500 people. Anyone could get 500 people. Hey, I want to start with my 500 true fans. I'm going to work upon getting them. Start with that and then figure out roughly what is your product that you're going to package for them. It could be $10 a month, $20 a month, $100 a month. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything. It could be $5,000 a month. Some of you are doing, okay, fantastic. You're doing agencies, etc. Fantastic. Write out your simplified revenue statement. Imagine now if you had 500 true fans paying you that every month. Or 1,000 true fans, or in my case, 2,000 true fans. That's beautiful. Write it down, get it out of your mind, put it on paper, make the commitment. Number 2, do one thing at a time. Look, a lot of people have this idea that they get in their mind that they want to become serial entrepreneurs. Whenever I see someone with that in their biography, serial entrepreneur, look, unless they're worth at least 10, 50, $100 million, I call bullshit. And what they are is, in fact, not serial entrepreneurs, but scattered. They're scattered, and they don't know what they want to stick to and commit to. Maybe commitment issues is some of the thing that they've got. But serial entrepreneurship, I don't know about that. Elon Musk is one of the few exceptions. But even Elon did one thing at a time. He did X.com, got rich, and then he moved to the next thing. These individuals who think they're going to focus on 10 things at once, it's not going to happen. And if you try to catch 2 rabbits, you'll end up catching none. When you're creating fans, you need to give them a way to box you in, to categorize you somehow. They need to say, he's the guy who does this, or she's the girl who's doing this. If you're all over the place and you're scattered, and one week you're a crypto expert, and then you're teaching real estate, okay, then you're into fitness and weight loss and 6-pack abs, and then you're a trans activist the following week, they're like, who is this fucker? What do they stand for? It gives an air of they don't know who they are. They're not certain about it. I don't really want to follow them. Or at least if I follow, I'm just going to be a sniffer, a ghost follower. I'm not really going to buy into their stuff. They seem scattered. Number 3, you've got to keep it real. You know what I see all the time that stops people from showing up confidently and consistently and building fans is their own imposter syndrome. And guess what imposter syndrome is? You get imposter syndrome as a feedback mechanism to let you know that you're not being real, that you're being out of authenticity and integrity. And imposter syndrome shows up because you're trying to convey a persona on your social media that's here when you're truly here. You're trying to exaggerate yourself a little bit or pretend as if you are more of an expert on some particular topic than what you are. Imposter syndrome, I don't see personally as a limiting belief or a negative thing. I see it as a centering force. It's helping you to get back into authenticity. And so use it. And when you're having the imposter syndrome, what is it? Ask yourself, what is it right now that I'm trying to present or pretend as if I'm a little bit further than maybe what I really am? And when you can tap into that, you're like, oh yeah, I see what it is. Change your tune, change the message, and humble yourself. And you go out there, and guess what? The moment you do, your content will be imbued with a realness, with an authenticity. And guess what? Right now, that's going viral. That's the stuff that works. That's the stuff that connects with people and builds that connection, gives you that fanship. People are sick of fuckers showing up, pretending they're God's gift when they're usually not. And we're sensing that inauthenticity. We're sensing the BS. Our BS detectors are getting sharp. And so humble yourself, center yourself, tell it like it is. You know what is an interesting thing that you can do also is if you're here, by the way, if your true level in any endeavor or any field is here, if you go out on social media and you present this slightly under where you are, an amazing thing will happen. The audience, the crowd, the followers, the viewers will actually come into the comments and into your DMs and pick you up and lift you up. When you're proudly boasting about this, you'll get haters to cut you down. And then it will sting, and then you'll think, oh God, I got imposter syndrome. I don't want to do that again. That hurts. When you present that you're actually lower than where you really are, which very few people want to do, the crowd will actually lift you up to where you really are. Now, if they keep lifting you up and make you arrogant and proud and you start exaggerating yourself again, they'll pull you back down. Nature, it has a centering force about it. There's a homeostatic balancing force in nature and in your psychology. In your psychology, it's called imposter syndrome. And on the line, it's called supporters and challengers. So if you stay centered and you keep it real, you have the highest probability of building deep connection and building true fans. And then number 4 is that you've got to be your own biggest fan. Look, if you don't love you, why would you expect others to love you? If you're not a fan of you, why would you expect others to be a fan of you? You've got to start with being a fan of yourself. And this is a lot of people don't talk about this or at least admit this publicly. But the people out there with the greatest number of true fans, they themselves are their biggest fan. They love their work. Not a pride or an arrogance, but there is an inspiration of their own work. They love what they are creating and building genuinely. You can't fake it. There's a genuine self-appreciation and a self-respect that cannot be fudged, that cannot be faked. And people feel that, by the way. And so the work that you're doing, the content that you're creating, the products that you're developing, do you love them? Would you like to buy them? Do you feel sometimes when you look at your own sales page or you go through your own product, do you think, fuck, this is good. This is bloody good. I got to get this to more people. Because I know a lot of people who don't feel that way when they look at their own product, when they're giving themselves a self-review of their business or their content. They don't like their own work. It's like, how do you expect anyone else to like you? It's like you need to keep working on yourself to build yourself up, to go the extra mile, to do better work so that you like your own work. And when you do, people will sense that in the way that you conduct yourself, and they will feel that confidence and that certainty, and there will be a higher probability that they buy into you and become fans. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you can see this very well, but last year in 2023, I did 51 huddles in our school. And this is each huddle, and I got it printed. When I look at this, let me sit down. I know that this doesn't mean a lot to anyone else, but this was my work in 2023, and I feel very inspired by it. I feel very proud about it. And as I go through each of these modules that I created, these workshops that I did last year, it's so inspiring to me. I think this is the best. I think my product is the best product in the world. And I genuinely feel that. I'm not faking that. So I printed this out as a reminder for myself in the future of my contribution to my clients in 2023. There's a pride in the workmanship is what you might call it. And that's what I recommend that you do. You need to keep doing work until you love doing it, until you're your favorite person to watch. Sometimes I watch my old modules. I'm like, fuck, this is going to sound narcissistic and a bit ridiculous, but it's like, I'm funny. I like watching myself. And the truth is that a lot of people who are doing content do feel that way about themselves. They just don't want to say that publicly because people out there who have low self-worth don't feel like that and think that if you feel like that, you're some sort of fucking arrogant narcissist or something like that. You need to be your own biggest fan. My final tip is to join us on our upcoming live workshop. So if any of this message resonated and you really want to take your raving fans seriously, on the 21st of February 2024, we're hosting a live workshop. So it will be just like this, but 60 to 90 minutes. It will be very immersive, very in-depth, and we'll talk about the nuts and the bolts of actually what to do. And we're going to set up a little accountability program in our school. If that would be interesting to you, if that would be valuable to you, there'll be an invitation link under this video, schoolofmastery.com/1000.